So CSS selectors, right? So this is again a locator, a kind of locator, and which has so many similarities like XPath only. Okay, so just see what are the rules we have for CSS selectors. Okay. Okay, so I'll open a presentation here. Okay, so symbols used while writing the CSS selector. Okay, so if you want to find a web element using ID, we actually use the hash symbol, right? And if you want to find the web element using class name, we use dot symbol. Let me show you on a login page. Here, simple operation we will do with the CSS selector. Okay, suppose this is a login page. Okay, and here if you just type here, now here you don't have to put double slash, you can directly put input here, input. Okay, so input, you can see there are 3 inputs here, and if you want to choose an input with ID, let's say ID is email, so use hash. Okay, so use hash here, just put hash and put the ID. Okay, so your element will be selected here, right? So this is one way, right? So to select element using CSS selector, just type the, or just start with the tag name. Second thing, if there are multiple tags with multiple similar tags, then you can differentiate them with ID, and for ID we use hash, or class, and for class we use dot, right? So generally class names are actually again common thing, so but still I'll show you if you want to differentiate it with class. So you have to say select here dot form dash control, but again you will find 2 form dash control here, so 1 and 2. So dot operator is used for selecting the input with the class name, and hash will be used for selecting the input with the ID. Okay, so here ID is email. Okay, so this will be a unique one. Fine. For example, first example, let's using ID. This is using ID, and second example using class. So this is actually using class, right? So yes, are you clear up to this? So CSS selector, how to select the CSS selector using, right? Just write the tag name, and if you want to choose it with ID, put hash over here, and if you want to choose it with the CSS selector, you have to put dot over here, right? So these are few basic things. Let's see what more we can have, because this will not be the only case, right? So if you want to take some other attribute, right? If suppose ID is not there or class name is not there, and if you want to use some other attribute, then you can use it like this into the square bracket, use into the square bracket, right? And here you don't have to put @ symbol, just put the key value pair here, right? So here, third rule, if you want to use any attribute value pair, just put it in the square bracket. Okay, here we don't need to take @ symbol like XPath. Okay, so if you want to use any attribute value pair, just put it in the square bracket. Here we don't need to take @ symbol like XPath. So for example, okay, for example, right here, tag name, then attribute equal to value into single quotes, and we'll see the real example. So for example, here, let's say placeholder is equal to email, right? So input into the square bracket, let's say placeholder is equal to into the double quote, email, e is capital, so email placeholder. Okay, so you see, so this is another example like this. Example A, this is example B. Okay, so this is the third type. Okay, now we have few symbols here. So star is for contents, this to the power symbol is for starts with, and this dollar is for ends with. Okay, so let's just see how to use this. Okay, so we have several examples also here. So I'll just give you the introduction, and tomorrow probably we will solve some more examples on this, right? So starts with or contents. So contents, if you just don't want to use the full text here, so you can just put here star over here, right, before the equal to symbol, and you can put the substring, then also it works, right? So third one, fourth one, you can use star for contents value in the third option, right? So in short, you can use substring of value. Okay, for example, this one. Okay, so using the star operator, I can use the substring, right? So we also have, let's say, this operator. So to the power with means starts with, to the power means starts with. So if you want to remember this, to the power, whether it starts with or ends with, so ends with symbol is dollar symbol is like S, so starts with do not have dollar symbol like S, right? So generally we can remember quite like this. So this S is not for this dollar symbol, right? So I remember in this way. So the start with is not like this S symbol. Okay, so ends with is the dollar symbol. So you can use the to the power symbol for starts with value. So for example, uh, you can use the same, and instead of start you should use to the power symbol, and you may just simply write here EM. So it starts with EM. It will also work. Okay, so yes, you see it is highlighted. Okay, and similarly you can use ends with, that is the dollar symbol for ends with value. Ends with value. So it should not be like this. Ends with, and ends with, you can write using dollar, and let's say IL, this is the ends with. Okay, so you can use this XPath as ends with. Sorry, this is the CSS selector. Okay, so in this way this will also work, right? So yes, so these are only simple rules for selecting using the CSS selectors, right?